Okay, so here we are at the desktop for the Plesk Control Panel again, and we're going to show you how to set up an SSL certificate. With the Plesk Control Panel, it's pretty straightforward to do an SSL actually. So over here on the left, we're going to go ahead and click on Domains, and then you'll see a list of your domains here, and whichever domain name you're going to add an SSL certificate for, we're going to go ahead and click on. Now, if you need more than one SSL, if you have more than one domain and each one needs an SSL, you do need to have an IP address assigned for each domain name. So you can easily go to your billing control panel and add a new IP address, which would show up in here, and make a domain name for an IP address exclusive and be able to do an SSL for it. But let's pretend we're just doing one here. And right here we have certificates. So we're going to click on certificates, and you can see no certificates here. All that's there is the default certificate. So we're going to add new certificate. We're going to give it a name. So I'm going to give it the name of www hard hat demo. And then you're going to set what kind of preferences you want here. 2048 is much, a little more secure. It automatically pulls in a lot of your information out of your contact information here. And for this scenario, we're going to pretend like we have a brand new certificate. We don't have an existing certificate elsewhere that we're moving. We're just installing a new certificate. So if we're installing a brand new certificate, we would just, after all this information is correct, hit request. Now when we hit request, it goes and creates a CSR, or a certificate signing request, that you can go have your certificate generated from. So here's our CSR. We can copy it, we can paste it with the other people that have the certificate that we're getting the certificate from, and they'll give us our certificate. Once we get the certificate back from them, we can paste the certificate here, and depending on the certificate we get, and if there's a CA certificate, we would also paste our CA certificate here, and we just click send text. Now, just for to be thorough here, we're also going to go over if we're moving a certificate. It's slightly different. If you have a certificate that you're moving from somewhere else, and you want to reissue the certificate, you would follow those same instructions that we just went over for installing a brand new one, because you're going to get the CSR, have it reissued, get a new certificate, and put that certificate up there. But for here, let's say we're just moving a certificate. We already have the certificate. One of the things that we have to supply when moving the certificate is the private key from the server that it was originally issued for. So all we need to do is, we don't need to request here. All we're going to do is paste a private key and paste the certificate from the other hosting control panel. And then if we had a CA certificate, we'd paste a CA certificate. Then we would hit send text, and it would paste all that information onto the server, and your certificate would be installed. So these first two are definitely required. The last two may not be required. Depending on the certificate you have, you may not have a CA certificate. So let's go back here to the certificates. We see the one that we created already. It's not complete. We didn't do a certificate. You can see the C area is gone, because we don't have a real certificate to install here. But once we did have it installed, we would go to the hard hat demo, click on setup, and the certificate right here is where it would become a drop down box. We would just drop down the box and choose the new certificate that we just created. And as simple as that, and the certificate's installed. Most people forget that last step of actually implementing the new certificate.